No, but I'm figure it out while it's streaming to all the other platforms.
Figure it out while it's streaming.
I'm just trying to. This is weird.
We need you to pull that up.
Nah, I have to get it like how I had it before.
Mhm.
What is this? I might have to do it. Let me see something. We're waiting on Nebu too, right?
Yeah, he got to start his whole computer and stuff up.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if it's gonna pop up now. Yeah, it popped up. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's scroll.
Understand.
30. Sentence 3, 28. All right, pull up the nature books now. And then we should be good to go right after. Boom. BIA book 3. What is going on? There we go. We up to 27. All right. That's good. Oh, I'll pull up the memorandum real quick. Where's book 2? Where are you, book 2? Where's book 2? There we go, book 2. And the last person we're waiting for is Nebu, right? He's still in here.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
hit him.
His computer's probably taking a while to boot up.
Let me see. See what we got. All right.
All right. All right. All right. Sorry, everybody. Just, having some technical difficulties that are not really technical difficulties, rather. I was a little rusty at figuring out these things. I gotta get my what you call it too, my little background music. But I get back to it soon. So while we wait for the other kin to get in the room, I'm gonna get the live stream started. All right. All
Yeah,
right. So
I got him on the phone, so when we do the intro, he can at least do that till he get in. Sorry to cut you.
all right, no problem. No problem. All right. So yes, we've been gone for a little while, but let me do the quick little intro and then we'll get rolling. All right. True peace, all kins and friends. My name is A-Noot Bunu Nupu. I'm a member, proud member of the Ethiopian race, as well as a representative of Noon Science, brought to us by our great and noble messenger Afro Nupu. Once again, this is another live stream. I thank everyone for coming out tonight. It's a little bit late, but I usually try to get on a little earlier. We had like a little 3-month layoff because a lot of things were going on in our lives. Had to get things straight. But we are back and at it again. So I'm gonna allow the kids to introduce themselves before I get right back into the proceedings this evening. Go ahead, Kens.
All right. True peace, everyone. This is Nukaru Nupu. Part of happy member of the Tarkan race. Here with my kins, building amongst the Noonie Bulls, bringing some more information. And with the goals that you're going to be able to absorb the information, ask questions about the information and where to get the information. Because the books are online, so there's nothing being withheld. So if you have questions on where to get the books, we're going to send you the links. Just follow the chat, and it's just breathe in the air. We're here to build and continue revolving up towards the top half, and getting rid of these ghost spells, and doing what needs to be done according to nature. Things that we are by genetics programmed to do. When you're in the right mind and you're woke, you're really woke. You know what I mean? True peace.
I am Nupu. I am a Nunabu Helper, and I have been able to have the opportunity to help share this nature information, as well as get on through these streams and give my commentary of the information that's being put forth. And I know tonight will be even more extravagant with the information that's out there, will help to liberate and to basically brush off that cobweb of ignorance and negative forces that have people binded in the spell of the deity. True peace.
All right. Also, to follow what Nukaru said, the links to the books and the websites are in the tag above our avatars. You can see it's a visit for books. Visit nupunoon.com and findninenews.com. Just for those who new to this particular setup. I'm also talking to Nupu. I represent the Black of the Ethiopian race. I am a proud member of the Ethiopian race and a proud Nunibu. And we took a nice little hiatus. We didn't mean for it to go this long, but we still are grateful for the time that we had, the little downtime. So now we're back and about to do what we need to do. And I yield the floor. Go ahead, Ken. Take it away.
All right. Thank you. Amazing introductions by the kins, all the noble kins that are here. And I just want to just talk for a quick second before we get into the memorandum, before we get into the information. Just to let everyone know that this particular time in nature is a very crucial time for our alignment with the cycle in nature. Various things happen. Various things are happening right now on planet Earth, and we are reaching that tipping point with a danger zone as far as understanding where we are spiritually as a people. And it is very imperative for us to have the right information and the right knowledge in order to carry us forward into the next cycle. All right. Religion, as it stands today, is very outdated. It was created, specifically, religion has been created well for about 6,000 years, but it really took its foothold about 2,000 years ago, and it's been thriving ever since. And it's been promising people a lot of things, and it hasn't been coming through with the promises. And the last promise that people are waiting for is for Jesus to return. And that's for the Christians. For other religions, there's other things that are taking place that are not taking place for them as well. But what is taking place, and what we do know that is taking place, is that the cycle and season that we're in right now has shifted, and Noon has taught us that we are in a very deceptive time with the AI and with all the imagery and things like that that has been taking place. It is really taking a toll on the lives of people. And it is very imperative for us to absorb the right knowledge and the right information to get us to that next phase. There's going to be a lot of copycats and fakers, like we've seen in the last video that Tarnoon beautifully put together. Um, there's only one true science, and there's only one group of people that is teaching the science online currently. There's no other people on YouTube, rather. I can't say online currently because there's some that push Noon on Facebook, some push it on Instagram and whatever other platform they have right now. But as far as having a visual conversation, or a audible conversation about Noon that is teaching directly from the books, there's no other people online that is actually teaching directly from the books. Anyone that's claiming to teach Noon and they're not teaching exactly from the books, then they are being very deceptive. Okay. I saw a troubling video by a Nawapian that went out with, he was saying that Noon is quantum physics and this, that, and the third. Yes, a part of Noon is quantum physics, but Noon itself is not quantum physics. As a matter of fact, in the books, it tells you that Noon is the science of sciences. Quantum physics is actually just a part of science. Okay, so that's one of the things that we must understand, that Noon is a universal science. Okay, and this is something that I actually was contending with Chat GPT with. Okay, all right, so I didn't want to give that long intro, but I wanted people to really understand how important it is right now for you to really absorb the nature science, because your life literally depends on it. Okay, so we shall continue. All right, and bear with me, I'm a little rusty. um I forgot a couple of these things, but it's okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I am going to go to the to the memorandum. Let me know if you see the memorandum. You all see the memorandum on the screen?
Yes, it's up.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. So the memorandum can be found in Nature of Nature, Book 2, page 236. And I'll read it. Number 350. Listen to reason. The following memorandum is the conversation each and every Nunibu of the Ethiopian race should have with Nupu at least once a day. And the name Nupu should be pronounced in mind, whisper, or out loud in the numbers order given and before the conversation starts. The numbers order given creates two ends as you read the name. and the two N's made by reading and pronouncing the name Nupu 9 times stand for Nupu and Noon. Nupu Nupu Nupu, Nupu Nupu Nupu, Nupu Nupu Nupu. Remember the promise and covenant with your messenger and also writer, Afro-Unu, and all those who learn, accept, and practice positive nature knowledge and the laws of nature as explained and described by Noon, your active science of all the worlds. Your promise and also covenant having been duly made are binding as following: economic well-being and liberation of the Ethiopian race, mentally, spiritually, and also physically, because it is the time and cycle for this action for your posterity, the Ethiopian race, and because we all, meaning Ripu, Gipu, Sipu, and all adherents dedicate and obligate the rest of our lives to sound right reason, who is Nupu, positive nature knowledge, the laws of nature, also truth, equality, justice, and practicing rightness, which is Noon, to the best of our knowledge and also abilities. The time for the Savior has passed. It is now time for the mental resurrection, liberation, justice, judgment, settlement, and balance for all peoples on planet Earth, as promised by the forces of nature and predicted by the ancients and sages of antiquity. Nupu, please cause it to be. Okay, so that's the memorandum, all right? And the last time we left off, we stopped at paragraph 26, and it was 9 equality in Nature of Nature, book 3, as you see from the caption, right? So always do this. As a matter of fact, you guys see the 9 ball? Because I switched the screen to the 9 ball. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So I always do this. So because like I told you before, there's a lot of people trying to steal the information, right? But the information does belong to the Ethiopian race and humanity in general, but stealing the information and claiming that is yours is actually stealing. Okay. So this was given to us by the messenger Afro Ununupu, right? But you have some people out there that are actually trying to claim the information as if it's theirs, or as if they're the author, or they're the ones that was sent by some mysterious force in nature to be the one to represent the science as a whole. There's no one person that can represent the science as a whole. All right. You can represent the science as an individual that is a part of the whole, but you can't represent the science as a whole. It's impossible for you to do such things. Okay. Even the most powerful force in the book doesn't represent the information as a whole, which happens to be Nupu. Nupu is the force behind the books, but it don't represent. Oh, okay, hold on. Sorry. I just heard the king get in the chat. All right. All right. True peace, Nebu. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, all right. True peace, Kens.
True peace, true peace. All right, hold on. I need to jump back on the sorry, hold on. To bring you in, I had to come off the screen. I gotta get back good at this. All right. So I hear a little echo. Just mute your screen for me, whoever that may be.
Maybe.
All right. So the 9 ball booklet, right, has this symbol that we see here, right? This circle with the N. It happens to be the same circle with the N that you see on the thumbnail as well with the colors, right? And these symbols are a representative of the force behind who and what wrote the books, right? And it was given to us by the messenger known as Afro Ununupu. Afro Ununupu is not a person to be worshipped. We don't worship anyone in Noon. We give a lot of honor and respect to him because of the work that he's done over the years. He was researching for many years. He's a scientist, right? And we give him great respect for the work that he's done. But as far as worshiping an individual, absolutely not. With the time and the cycle for that, as we just read in the memorandum, that's completely over. Okay. All right. So this symbol right here is the only symbol that you will see in our books. Any other books that you see that don't have these symbols is not a representation of our books. The only other books that don't have these symbols in it is the Bible interpretations, because these symbols came um a little in the second books, which happens to be the non-ball. But prior to that, the only two books that don't have these symbols are the Bible interpretations and explanations. Okay. So this is count three, liberation information, published by Those Who Care, written by Wunupu, Asunupu, and Nabanupu, which are just other names for Afro-Unu, Gipu, and Sipu. Okay. Printed in the United States of America. I guess a lot of FBAs, they'll be very proud about that. Those that call themselves foundational Black Americans. Yes, these books were printed and produced in the United States of America. Okay. Dedicated to Ethiopian liberation in New York, 1971. As you guys can see, these books were written in 1971. Well, produced in 1971. Okay. All right. So now let's finally get to the proceedings this evening, right? So as I always do, I read the first paragraph, and then we're gonna go to the chat GPT, so that we can do a little further research. Okay. All right. Paragraph 27. By the same wealth in common, we mean necessities of life. All Ethiopians have access to as we need them and in the amount we need them. That is to say, each draw from the wealth in common in the amount of his or her natural responsibilities. One may have more natural responsibility than another and thereby need more. But if one eats well, we all eat well. If one has a nice place to sleep, we all have a nice place to sleep. And if one has nice clothes to wear, we all have nice attire to wear. The topic gives a brief description of what Ethiopian equality is like, which is equality by nature. All right. For those who are new to the platform, Ethiopian does not mean from the country known as Ethiopia. Ethiopia Ethiopian means those are who possess woolly hair by nature. Okay, the ether is what is actually produced our kinky hair, and that's the reason why we are called Ethiopian. Okay, so now I'm gonna end this screen share, and we're gonna go to the chat GPT. Okay, give me 1 second. I gotta get back into the swing of things. It's been a little while. I apologize that I've been gone for so long. Hold on. Let me do this again. Live stream. Wait. What did I do? Do I need to open another screen? I apologize. Bear with me, y'all. I've been oh, here we go. There we go. Just let me know if y'all see it.
I see it.
Yeah, you see it? Number 27. Sentence by sentence analysis.
It's up.
All right, great. All right. So sentence one, by same. All right. So first I gotta give a quick little introduction about the platform that we're using. The platform that I'm currently using is ChatGPT. So I'm using the AI so that the AI can find certain information that I may not be able to find on the internet, because it's very proficient when it comes to finding information. As far as giving information, it must be checked out by sound right reason. But the reason being is because AI is programmed to be biased towards whoever the ruling people are at this particular point in time. So if you use any type of language that's against what they're actually going for, is going to kick back some rebuttals and some feedback
Right.
that is not going to agree with you. So the information that I use the chat for is for it to basically just find the information that I'm looking for. Okay, that correlates with with the research that's already been done. Now, if there's any kickback or anything like that, you'll always see me either question the chat. This is actually part of a longer conversation that I had with the chat. Um, and I had to cut out certain parts because me and the chat was going back and forth.
Back
I,
and forth.
yeah,
I know.
going back and forth with the order the AI for quite some time to the point where it was like, okay, um I get what you're saying, but you can't say it in that way, and this that it's crazy. It's just
They got
um
it on lock. They got it on lock, but we can still manipulate it.
right. So that's the um that's the reason why I use the AI. But it's still a great tool. It just depends on how you use that particular tool. It's just like any other tool, as far as that makes the job a little bit easier. And I must say that the AI definitely does make my job a little bit easier, especially when I'm working all day and I have to really crunch this information down and bring it to you guys. All right.
You imagine when Afro had to go through with the books in the libraries, right? And then the library books have misinformation, and he's fighting with the books.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So he's a lot of research and things like that had to go into it. So yeah, absolutely. So we are appreciative for the tool that we have that can help us, but be very, very careful with this tool, because this tool can really get out of hand at times too. Okay. All right. So I'll proceed. All right. Number 27, sentence by sentence analysis. Sentence one, verbatim. By same wealth in common, we mean necessities of life of all Ethiopians have access to as we need them and in the amount we need them. So modern mainstream. So I had to, so like I told you before, I in the beginning, I had to really break down to the chat exactly what it is that I need from the chat so that it doesn't veer off. So when you see it say mainstream science, I had to tell it that mainstream science is different from universal science. Mainstream science is very biased to what is taking place in this particular day and time. So some of the times you're gonna see it give a little kickback. I don't think it's gonna do it here, because when I went through it, maybe at the end of this video I'll show where some of that kickback was taking place. Okay. All right. So modern mainstream science, public health and economics research shows when food, shelter, and healthcare are guaranteed, there's lower crime, longer lifespan and higher productivity. This is called needs-based provisioning or common governance. Okay. So based on research, when we have proper economics, right? Sorry, when we have proper food, proper shelter, and proper health care, we have a lower crime rate, right? This is something that we're plagued with in some neighborhoods, right? We are usually the poster children for crime. Okay. Longer lifespan. A lot of us are passing away because we're not eating healthy. A lot of us are dealing with a lot of illnesses because they put a lot of terrible foods within our neighborhoods. Okay. And then we have higher productivity. Right now we're dealing with a crisis of not having highly productive individuals right now. And on top of that, they're taking away the jobs from the people. So what do you do now when some people are not even productive and now you don't even have a job to give them? So we're headed in for a major crisis, right? So noon perspective, necessities equal life energy inputs, common pool equals shared reservoir. Distribution by need equals metabolic balance. Same principles as blood to organs and oxygen to cells. So we need these things in order to make sure that the body of the race itself is operating. So our race itself is an organism as well. We are one organism. And this is the problem that we're having in our race today. In our race today, we don't look at each other as one organism. We look at each other as individuals, right? Well, it's happening to you, it's not happening to me, no. But when one thing happens to one person, it happens to the whole. All right. So in historical science, pre-industrial villages, communal grain, shared wells, and shared land. Private hoarding was rare because survival required cooperation. See, our survival, right, is based upon cooperation. Here goes a real world parallel. It's ironically, this is in Israel. This is called the kibbutz model, right? And with the kibbutz model, it's documented that they have shared food, shared housing, shared income, and nobody homeless inside the community. What's happening in our communities, especially the black communities? When you see the black communities, there's homeless people around. I know, especially I live in New York City. Most of the homelessness takes place in the poor neighborhoods, which happens to be the black neighborhoods. Now those neighborhoods are becoming gentrified, but the homelessness still exists in the streets. Okay. And it says for decades, they showed higher stability and low poverty. Why? Because they're sharing things. Okay. And that's what's happening with the billionaires of today. They're sharing things amongst each other, but it's not being shared with us. Okay. Sentence 2. That is to say, each draw from the wealth in common in the amount of his or her natural responsibilities. In modern day, this is called progressive or proportional allocation. Families with kids get more. Elderly get more health care. Workers in high responsibility roles receive more resources. In noon, function determines energy draw. Organs don't receive equal blood. They receive necessary blood. See, this is powerful, and this is what noon is saying. Noon is saying that everybody doesn't need the exact same thing, right? We need what we need based upon what we need by nature. Okay? Historical context. Village chiefs, farmers, and builders receive different shares based on their role. Parallel cooperative budgeting systems. Mutual aid networks today still allocate by need plus role, not identical amounts. And that's what we will call equity, right? So there's a difference between equity and equality, right? Equality means everybody gets the same thing. Equity means what everybody gets what they need to bring them up to the same level. Okay? Sentence 3. One may have more natural responsibility than other and thereby need more. But if one eats well, we all eat well. If one has a nice place to sleep, we all have a nice place to sleep. And if one has nice clothes to wear, we all have nice attire to wear. Modern science, this is called minimum floor economics. Guaranteed baseline dignity equals society stabilizes. Homelessness and food insecurity correlate strongly with crime, poor cognition, stress, disease. Remove those and stability rises. From the noon perspective, system health principle. If one organ collapses, the body collapses. Collective wellness equals individual wellness. This is not necessarily true, but the body will not function at its full capacity if one of our organs collapses. Okay, we know if the heart collapses, you're damn near done. There's no way, you can really come back from that. Same thing as a lung, same thing as the liver. There's certain organs that could collapse and you still be okay. Like your genitals could collapse and you'll be okay. You won't function the same, but these are some of the organs that if they do collapse, you'll still be able to function. All right. Historical tribal systems ensured nobody starved alone. Parallel modern community housing plus food co-ops, where basic needs are shared. Neighborhoods show lower violence and stronger cohesion. All right. So now I have to go back real quick to the real quick. I gotta go back to the books to read the non-ball again. Give me 1 second. Just give me a couple episodes and then I'll get right back into making sure we good to go. Just let me know if you see that paragraph 28. You all see paragraph 28?
I see it, Ken.
All right, good. All right, 28. Another note on equality tells us that racial equality also means each race should have its own land, own economy, own armed forces, own language, own educational system, and own culture and heritage in general. This is the true meaning of racial equality. And speaking of educational system brings us into education equality. It should be one of the educational requirements that by this time a student finishes 9th grade, he or she must know what he or she is planning to be. So by the time that student finishes high school, he or she will be prepared to enter with confidence and qualification into the chosen career. It's a very powerful paragraph right there. And it helps us to really understand where we are as a people and what we need to do in order to get these things situated. This is like us building a true culture society online right now, right? We'll already be prepared for when the time comes what we need to do to function fully as a people and as a race.
We really made a framework, a blueprint. I mean,
That's
everything.
Right. That's absolutely right.
It's nature, baby.
You guys, you see the screen?
Yeah, 28.
Yep, 28. We up to 28. You see it, right?
Oh, indeed, I see it.
Okay, got you. I just wanted to know. All right. Sentence 1. Another note on equality tells us that racial equality also means each race should have its own land, own economy, own armed forces, own language, own educational system, and own culture and heritage in general. Modern mainstream biology does not support race separation. You see, they this is one of the things that I had a kickback with it. You understand, there is a need for race separation. Biology actually does support race separation. I didn't argue with the chat this time because I wanted to make sure that we got through it cleanly, but I'm bet you at another particular point in time we're gonna have this talk. But biology does do it. If naturally when you see a Caucasian have a child with a melanated person, the melanin and the genes inside of the Caucasian will fight to the death, or they will blend together, right? So the genes itself actually have a war inside of the individual, and sometimes this war plays out psychologically as well through many mixed race children. So that's something we're going to address at another day and time. At another day and time, okay? All right. Biology does not support race separation. That's not true. But Self-determination and sovereignty are widely supported socio-political principles. Groups with land control, schools, and economic control show stronger outcomes. And that's a fact. We have to control our land, we have to control our schools, and we have to control our economics and our economics in our community. Land is something we've lost over time. I read an article where we own at least 1% of the land in the United States of America. Now we own way less than that in 2026. So we actually own more land right after slavery than we do right now. All right. I don't think we have a couple of independent black schools that educate our children, but I think their curriculum is still based upon the Caucasian curriculum, which was done by the Rockefellers, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Okay. And the economics, we already know. We are the ninth richest people on the planet without a country. That's the ironic craziness. We generate about $2 trillion, but that money doesn't generate into our communities. Okay. All right, moving on. Noon. Closed circuit principle. Energy retained internally grows. Leakage weakens. All right. Historical context. Every civilization historically owns their territory, owns their language, and owns the schools. This was the norm for thousands of years. You see that? This was the norm for thousands of years. Now we don't have that. Right? Just about 100 years ago, look, the parallel, which is Greenwood districts, which is Black Wall Street. See some pictures here. I don't know if you see that. Did that picture widen on the screen? Just let me know if y'all see that. Okay.
Yeah, what? No.
Okay,
Yes, I
good.
see it.
Yeah. That's Black Wall Street. This is us. We had our own neighborhoods. Black Wall Street. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is amazing. Look how clean we dressed back then. Upstanding. All right. All right. So it's been documented that we had our own banks, had our own schools, had our own doctors, had our own stores. We had 100+ businesses just in that area. Money circulated internally multiple times before leaving. That's economic sovereignty in practice. Sentence 2. It should be one of the educational requirements that by the time a student finishes 9th grade, he or she must know what he or she is planning to be. In modern science, research shows early specialization reduces youth unemployment. In Noon, purpose discovered early equals less wasted life energy. See that? Historical apprenticeships began around ages 12 to 14 historically. I remember when I was younger, believe it or not, a lot of the schools had these apprenticeship programs. I don't know what happened to them. They kind of phased out. It no longer exists. They had, I think it's called Job Corps in New York. I don't know if they still have it, but these things are things that we need these days. Parallel Germany dual training. So, and the students had half school and half trade in Germany. You see that? Results: one of the lowest youth unemployment rates in Europe. Countries have this.
Yeah, we lost Job Corps. They lost that a couple years back. Job Corps went down.
It's maybe the funding, they took it away to fund more wars or something.
Yeah, I didn't look into it, but I remember. Yeah, I remember people. I know people that actually went. You know what I mean? Like
I won a long
90s.
time ago.
Huh? I didn't hear you, Ken.
I said I won a long time ago, but I think Trump killed a lot of that because he said in his last term, because there was a lot of money being sent to Job Corps, and a lot of people they was paying thousands of dollars, and they were just sitting on it for a long time. They wasn't doing nothing with it.
Yeah, it's killing the people because That now you don't have people that have trade jobs no more. You know, with the
Mhm.
plumbing and the
Plumbing.
yeah, plumbing is one of them. You got
Yes, it is.
electricity,
Electrician. Yeah.
yeah,
I went to
carpentry.
Welding,
one. I,
welding. That was the top one because my uncle did welding, and yo, that brought bread. That brought bread in the house.
Yeah, these are things that are needed. You know, some of these jobs got phased out, like tailoring. You know, people that know how to
mhm.
sew clothes and things like that. These, you know, they
Mhm.
got bought out by big factories and stuff. But these are some of the things that we need to bring back. My grandfather was a tailor. He sold clothes and
Mm.
things of that nature. And my great aunt is also a seamstress.
My
So
mother, all of us in
Mhm.
Africa, most of our ancestors were tailors,
right,
actually. And
yeah,
my
Mhm.
mother did that since she was 16 all the way till she passed. And she
wow,
made clothes for all my my four sisters and my one brother, and she made all of us clothes, all the way down to me. I was the last one, but
hmm,
them coming up in the 50s, she had to because she had no bread. She had to
right, right,
make get the patterns, get the materials. Say you going to school rocking that.
wow. No, that's amazing. So these are trades. We need these
Yes.
trades again. You know,
Yep.
these are the things that we need. All right, so I'm gonna just move on so we don't stick on this too long. Key children can go through high school and almost through college and not yet know what they would like their occupations to be. In the modern common
Mhm.
criticism of Western education is too abstract and too delayed. The parallel is Finland's education. Finland has early guidance, skill tracks, minimal testing, and top global outcomes. As a matter of fact, in the United States of America, they train you to work for the corporations. That's the education that you're being given these days, to learn how to work for the corporation.
Mhm.
You're not being given the skills trade, and corporations don't need you to have skills no more. They don't.
Mhm.
And that's
Nope.
why you see that they're shifting away from the skills trades. You don't need it no more.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Um, 30 sentence. All right. When a woolly haired person graduates from college today, find a good job. Oh, wait, it cut it off. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me go to number 30 because I think 30 is the last one, right? Give me a second to go back now. You're just gonna bear with me. I get much quicker with it once we get like 2, 3 episodes in. All right. So here we go. Last paragraph before we close out. When a woolly haired person graduates from college today, almost always the big thing he or she has in mind is to find a good job and stay on the job, getting promotions until retirement from work and then good retirement pay. Any Ethiopian should realize that working for Caucasians is helping Caucasians to oppress and repress Ethiopians because doing Caucasian work makes the white man richer. And if he is richer, he is stronger to oppress us. We Ethiopian scientists understand that when a person has no job of his own, he has to work for someone. But what are we saying is why work for your enemy all your active life. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. That's why we must figure it out. We got to figure it out whatever way we can.
Trust.
And
Beating
don't get it
myself up daily.
yeah, then don't get it twisted. We all in the same boat. You know what I'm saying? We are all in the same boat. But I guess that's why ChatGPT did not put the whole thing there because when they start seeing a white person and Caucasian, it just summarizes it. It's not gonna give, even though I I said for it to do it verbatim. Hold on, sorry. I apologize on that. All right. So, the modern parallel is employee model. You build wealth for the employer. That's exactly what that is. Ownership model. You build wealth for yourself and your community. That's measurable economics. With Noon, labor energy must circulate internally, right? Historical parallels. Immigrant plus minority groups that built business ownership first advanced the fastest. Parallels. Neighborhood business districts. I think this is like Chinatown, if I'm not mistaken. You see, this is Chinatown. You see, Chinatown built their own neighborhood. This, what is this? Like an Arab? This looks like an Arab store. All right. What is this? It says community bakery. Maybe it just threw up a. Oh, okay. How community got its start in Little Rock. This is the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. I don't know what that means, but that's the picture it gave me, right? But these first two pictures is an exact example of what takes place, right? The Asian comes here. Remember, there's Asian town everywhere. You got Chinatown in damn near every city. Boston, New York, everywhere has a Chinatown. All right. But you don't have a Black Wall Street anymore. They wouldn't dare burn down Chinatown. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Chinatown is literally what we were doing in Black Wall Street. Tell you the honest truth. So that's really what that is. All right. The pattern says family ownership, internal hiring, and reinvestment. Result, wealth retention. All right. So I think I did it over for 29 and I did it over for 30. But we're not gonna read that over. All right. Yeah, it's basically the same information again. And a little bit more of just a little bit more information. But like I said, I just wanted us to get back on just to, get back into the swing of things and really help us to get to a place where we are understand how important our economics is. And as you can see, just based on scientific research, that we are shooting ourselves in the foot when we're not owning to the full capacity. I'm not saying that that we don't own anything. We do own things, but we need to own it collectively. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Black Wall Street existed, they destroyed it. Even if we need to go somewhere else to create whatever it is that we need to create, but we need to make sure that our economics are being funneled into our pockets, because the wealth transfer is happening at a great rate. We see right now Elon Musk is worth about $800 billion. For what? For what? Why does one person need to be worth that much money? And I'm not jealous or anything like that. I'm more upset at the fact that they allowed something like that to occur when you got so much homelessness taking place in the United States of America. That means they really don't care.
Exactly.
Homelessness is not a priority to them. Priority to them is money. Trump, that's all Trump is talking about. Money, 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 money. No, but what about the welfare of the people? It's not always about money. Oh, the stock market did this, the stock market did that. No, it's not always about the stock market. It's not always about the money. It is much more about the welfare of the people and making sure that people can live decent lives. But we are living in hell right now. So we can't expect heaven condition from hellish people. It won't happen. Okay, so let's not expect that. Let's not keep begging Trump to do for us. And let's go out there and do what we got to do. And that's just my take on it. I thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'm gonna allow the Kens to give their piece. I'm just giving my salutations. Thank you for everyone that came out tonight. We're gonna get back into the swing of things. I'm very, very rusty, but by the third episode, I'm gonna be sharp and get right back into it. You're gonna hear our ancestors singing in the background.
Yes.
Yeah,
I done
yeah,
forgot
that's
how to
what I
get.
meant.
Yeah, I don't forgot how to put them in the background, but I'm gonna get them back in the background, and we don't worry, we're gonna get back into the swing of things. True peace.
Yeah. True peace, Ken. That was
True
amazing,
peace. Yeah,
amazing show. I'm just like astounded because there's so much information just going into what the possibilities we have. Building economics when our cells come together and form the organism that needs, because it takes big brains and a lot of big brains to make it work. The possibilities, even though we're in the Zoop and we're at the bottom half, and Spirit Force is always throwing us off. I mean, Spirit Force has knocked out the entire Black Wall Street. That's like, you know, and I believe if they had known science behind them, they would have known that force was apparently there and made preparations for some type of. I mean, it happened in a day. You know what I'm saying? I think they, but there's things that led up to it. You know, that you can have been a little bit. It's what we went through, and the stuff that we're going through. It's beyond imaginable because you're in the Zoop, you're in the Duat. So all of it is going to be almost unimaginable, but it's happening. And it's happening now in reality. And the myth story has got to go for you to get this information. You can't come in here with all that crap behind you. Like all the myths that you've been studying, all of it has to come at that door, and you have to step in order to step into the door, you have to leave that at the door. You can't come into here with that because that confuses you. It's automatically a confusing type of mythology. So I hope
chaotic.
everyone was able to get this information. I'm sorry for taking up space, but I'm out. New Karu, Nupu, Anoop, great job, Ken, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, true peace. Yeah, for the most part, as far as us being Ethiopian race, we are a race of reciprocity, very giving, and for the most part, all they do is take.
Mhm.
So once we get out of the system of what they have set up, because you have, I've seen videos of them speaking at Davos. You got the EU now. They are basically kind of trying to step away from the United States because they've been piggybacking off of the United States. Now they talking about sovereignty and becoming independent, and
Mhm.
and also they getting into the talks of where it would be no where it would be where it would be no more control, and they want to do partnerships. That right there, they still trying to become, they can't be relevant without Africa. So they still trying to set it up some kind of way where they feel that maybe they'll be able to become partners with Africa, because if they don't have Africa, they will crumble. So, so that's just my take
Still
on it.
sucking off of, still sucking on our energy source.
That's it.
That's
That's
another
it.
another vein they trying to insert to stay alive.
Mhm. It's on you, Ken. You there, Tar?
Oh, my bad. The mute was on. I was saying, yeah, y'all done touched on all the bases. The basic stuff that we supposed to, well, we know nature and it's predetermined and all that stuff like that. So we don't get caught into the particulars of people having these conversations without knowing that And so what you end up doing is blaming the visible versus not understanding the cycles in the invisible world, how this stuff works. But if we don't control agriculture, if we don't have the skills, we don't have the manpower, the woman power, and the generations to continue and also be able to protect all of those things, is what you end up with right now, which is all of us are being pushed toward a state of, like I said before, conversations. We pretty much in America and other places is on the way to being a third world country. We're on the way to being a third world country in a place with all these riches and not able to basically feed yourself. And I've been watching a lot of these businesses, which is lower class businesses, just abruptly closing. And they're doing this by the dozens and dozens. And a lot of businesses closed last year. And they starting off the year doing the same thing. So, eventually people won't have nowhere to work because the individuals that's involved in this whole, New World Order, Noah laws, Agenda 21, 2030, and how they and pushing the AI, because that's why they getting rid of all of the workforce, the human resources, because now they don't really need the human being, but they have access to all of our DNA. So they think they're gonna clone and breed like they had in the Matrix movie, where you just had a bunch of people, in a state of daze, and they were just extracting energy and things and stuff for them. And so that's what everybody is being driven. The wealth transfer is really not even transferring wealth; it's just digital. They're using the digital to try to fool people. That's what the money is. But really, if it's not, it's really the resources from the planet, and anybody knows that, because every time they go to war, you don't see them fighting over digits and digital. They want the oil, the rare earth minerals. They want these things. And they fooled everybody into accepting the dollar as the number one currency around the world. And people start believing into that, and they still was taking physical resources versus paper. But now they're ready to switch over, and they're doing that, and they're trying to bring in all this other stuff with neural links. And what people got to understand, that's a lie too. They're not going to mass produce billions of neural links for people that they consider useless eaters. All of these people want fresh meat because they PDF files, and they want to divide the world up amongst themselves to be able to come out to the garden and pick whatever they want and abuse and all, because a lot of them is sick, like Klaus Schwab and them at the WEF and the IMF. All these guys already trying to connect into the computer and the cloud and all that. They want to be able to log in and do things from a VR standpoint and have all their fun inside of some kind of cloud. Other ones want to stick to the physicality and still indulge in things like Epstein was doing. So it's different levels of perverse. They all got their hand in it and how they want to go about it. And so we have to understand that. Like we're being driven in a way, but it has to be a standing up. But it got to be mental. Just like, see, that's the thing where we went wrong, like Afro said, that physical unity is a waste if it's not mental unity. And so we all unified physically, but got nowhere. So now the Caucasian and mankind in general, now that they're being awoken to the evilness of their mankind rulership systems, Now they saying we got to stand together, but that's the same problem we had because Moon wasn't there. So y'all coming together is gonna get what? You're not gonna get nothing done because they still trying to do the same thing that tricked them in the first place. We got to come together. We got to start a anti-APAC, and we need to vote in. That's not gonna work. That's a trick. But they still they don't have higher reasonability to go. They don't know how to figure themselves out of this one. So they still want to. You can't say try to sit them down, but still okay. We need to vote. And soon let's impeach Trump and get him out of there and put somebody at this. But the system is still functioning.
Yeah.
So they don't know what to do, and what they own book page is all falling. You can't keep it alive and remove the people because the people are being controlled by the energies and the spirit forces. You can't get rid of them. So they don't even know what they're really dealing with. And religion never is not telling them the truth. And we got to get away from that too, because religion got everybody stuck on a savior and somebody else coming, somebody what we gonna do. Let's come. No. Because what would happen if black people did the same thing and everybody came together to get rid of them? Who's gonna step in power? They want to keep America great, right? And let's say on a positive note, that means you got to keep white people in power because that's the only way it makes sense. Y'all not gonna remove all these people and have a Star Trek Federation in there where the power is, divided equally. It's not gonna work. It never worked like that. It only was working that way when we was in power because we was naturally the descendants of our ancestors, and we was on the lands anyway. But as time came and kept going and going, and other races started popping up, we shared the planet with them, and then them being descendants of aggressive monkeys is in Zupu 6 Ether kept aggressing as time went on. They overtook us. And they're like that, but because even after slavery, when we had nothing, they still kept doing it. When we could not defend ourselves at all, they was just going at us as if we was equally matched. And we see them still doing the same bullying now when they hit Venezuela. Look how hard they hit. And people don't forgot all about Maduro. They don't even know what's wrong with that and his wife. I just read that ICE just arrested a mayor because the mayor trying to get into one of the facilities to see what's going on with the migrants, how they being treated. So we too stupid because those sanctuary cities and these anti-constitution rules that they set up by bringing in immigrants, lower class and slaves have now caused regular people like Alex Pretty and that lady Miss Good end up getting killed because y'all trying to be saviors. And you're wrong in why you're doing it. Because we know that that's religion. Their religion got them feeling like they gotta save people. If Caucasians didn't and their system didn't put folks in a state of destitution, they wouldn't have a purpose. You remove your connection to their religion, they'll collapse because they believe that God is white, Jesus is white, Jesus' message was love and saving and all of that, which is not true because when you look into the New Testament, you don't see Jesus going off the deep end for other people. According to their book, he said he was only sent to the lost tribe of Israel. So that means you would consider that a racist. Because he said, I didn't come for everybody. So if we just follow that, they not even following their own book. Because the example, Jesus never said love everybody. That makes no sense. But this is what they have done to us in America with integration. Integration is we got here because of religion. And because we're being in a state of suppressing, you ain't have no other choice but to listening between what Malcolm was saying and what Martin was saying and what we seen, we know that the Nation of Islam had no way to deal with that oppression. Martin was the best choice and the worst choice at the same time. And all it did was get us more and more integrated, which means more and more stuck in a mind state, and we got pimped economically, physically, all of that. Politically, we still got nowhere. I was talking to a teacher today, and she was saying they were staying behind. I'm gonna say this and get out the way. And she said that they was teaching and they staying over 2 hours from today all the way to March 10th. And she said, you think that they're going to be able to, the children going to get any better by staying we staying here to 6 with them? I said, no. I said, our people and children need special attention. And she started laughing. She thought I was calling them special, like they were slow. I said, no. I said, this education and other things is similar to, like the Bible said, Moses and them went in circles for 40 years. I said, this is the same thing we did since the civil rights movement. We've been running around in the desert in a circle, and our children have suffered because of the dumb decisions that Martin made. And so I said, they're at this point, the system is the problem. But I said, but y'all don't understand what y'all did. Integration is never going to work when you're dealing with the oppressor and the oppressed, because it's only going to benefit the oppressor. And they know the laws of nature in certain cases. That's why they have us continuously doing the wrong thing and investing in it. And then what it does, it sets you up in the next life for failure. Like A-Noot was saying, he believed that when they sentence you multiple life sentences, that's a spell, and that'll go into the future, and you will come back still trapped. Because it makes no sense logically. Why would you give me multiple life sentences unless you know I live more than once? That means y'all know that people die and come back.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense. Why would you, if we live to 100, barely 100, then it should be, okay, you got 4 life sentences. That makes no sense. You might as well just say you in here forever, that's it.
That makes sense.
But they have spirituality is attached to these words and power and stuff. But that's all I want to say. It was a great show. Ken, it's good for coming back in and getting it done. We've been gone, so it's time to get it crunked. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna do a show right after this one. That's why I was taking some things. I wanted to get some stuff.
Nice. Okay. Let's get it rocking. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for coming out this evening. Once again, let's let's learn this knowledge. Let's get our minds updated to to where nature is at this particular point in time. I'm also going to do a series on the Zodiac as well as the calendar and things of that nature. So stay tuned for that as well. All right. So I'm going to end this broadcast. True peace.
True peace.